Alright, welcome to this tutorial on how to set up multicam in Adobe Premiere CC 2018. So at the end of this video you're gonna see something similar to this, which is basically a setup of the feature multicam in Adobe Premiere. This is very useful for Airsoft YouTubers who want to sync footages together, edit them together, cut them, and then set them up so that they don't have to sort of line up all the footage properly. So you can see here I have just one composition with one track in it, not multiple tracks, just one track. But in that composition I have multiple video sources with one audio source, which is convenient. As you can see here, I could switch back and forth between different footage from my head cam, self cam, to the gun cam. As you can see here, let me find a good footage for the gun cam. As you can see there, right there. Alright, so this is the end sort of end goal here. I'll show you how to do it from the very beginning. So let me just load up my project here. Close all projects. We don't have to save this. And let's just open up our start tutorial here. Alright, so as you can see here, we have all our footages lined up. Let me just open them up. And these footages are lined up so that they are I selected this footage in particular because they have two set up here. Meaning that my GoPro footages, when it went over 10 minutes, it created another file, which is GoPro 10459. As you can see here, 0459 was the first one, and then GoPro adds a 10459 at the next video footage. Same goes with my self cam. It is 0454, and then here it is 10454, and then if it has another cut in the footage, it's going to be 20454 if it had it. So that's how the GoPro file structure works. For my shot cam, which is AMBA 3424 and then 3425, these are sequential numbering, so they're a little bit easier, but they work differently because I think my Fox here records up to 18 minutes before it has to create a new footage to it, which is 2 minutes in length after that. So these footages are about, I believe it is 18 minutes, 20 minutes long, I believe. Yeah, it's about 20 minutes long. And then they're in different FPS too, so multicam does figure out that you have multi FPS frame rates. We'll figure out that it has multiple different frame rates. It doesn't matter for the multicam, and also this is a different resolution as well. My shot cam shoots at around almost 1440p, 2K basically. Alright, so let's get this started. So what I'm going to do first is, for multicam to work, you need to combine these footages together. So that means if I were to take, let's say, head cam first, so I'll do control, select the first footage, and then control, select the next footage. For what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a new composition. I could either drag it here, and then that makes a new composition, which is aptly named here with this icon here, which is called a sequence. Let's just name that to Game 3 Head Cam Comp. So I like to do naming values here so it's much easier to figure out which one's which. And then I'll do the same thing for the self cam. So I'll select this, the first one, and then the next footage. You gotta select it sequentially, or else it'll put the last footage on the first one and the first one on the first on the last footage. So you want to select first and then second footage, and then make a new sequence. Okay, and then we'll name this one Game 3, Self Cam Composition. And last but not least, our gun cam is going to be first footage and then next footage. Alright, and then we're going to make a new sequence here. And we're just going to name this game 3 gun cam comp. So those are the compositions that we have there. If you want to review the footages, they are right here. So you got self cam, head cam, and these are just the individual footages that we have here. So it is 20 minutes long. So you can see here, just double check that they are right 20 minutes long. And yeah, make sure that they have little pro tip for you guys when you're out in the field recording. So when I start recording here, I shoot my gun a couple of times. What that does, it creates the necessary audio peaks that I need to sync up the camera. So as you can see here, you'll see it on my self cam as well when I start shooting. As you can see here are the audio peaks for it. Right there. And I shoot the ground. As you can see there. And then the gun cam as well will have the same thing. It'll have that neat audio peaks at the very beginning. And then I shoot the ground. So what that does, it creates our sync point for the audio, because we're syncing it through audio and it makes it easier to sync it up properly. Alright, so a little bit of organization here. What I want to do is take all these composition footages, because right now we're in raw footages. You don't have to do this. I like to do this because I like to organize my footages. So I'll just go select my head cam, my self cam, and my gun cam together. So all the sequences, and then I just drag it here to the folder icon, and that creates a new bin, and I'll just name this Game 3 Comp or Composition. Whatever naming value you want, it doesn't matter. So now I could just tuck this away. I don't need the footages anymore. Well, don't delete them, just hide them. And next thing you want to do is you want to hit save, very important. So Control S is your save. Alright. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to close these guys off. Little red, the close button there. So now our timeline is clear. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is we're actually going to do the multicam. So if you want to know where it is, it's Clips Multicam, but it's grayed out. Even if you still select one footage, it's still not going to do it because it needs multiple footages or compositions, or sequences that is. So right now they're all synced up properly. They're all 20 minutes, and media 20 minutes. So what I'm going to do is this is where you have to follow the instructions properly. You have to select the head cam first, and then the self cam, holding control key, select the self cam, and then holding the control key still, select the gun cam. So what that does is it layers it properly so that you want the head cam to be first, self cam to be second, and then the gun cam to be last. Alright, let's go ahead and go clip. And then now it's not grayed out, and it says here create multicam source. Click on that. And now we come into this little setting here, or what we call property windows. So as of right now, our synchronization point is what I said already is going to be audio. So we're going to do click on audio there. We're going to do 2 tracks because we want 2 tracks on the audio. And then the next one is we want to change the audio sequence settings. So we want to use camera 1, which is our head cam, because the best quality audio comes from the head cam. You don't want all the cameras, because that'll be annoying because you're having double audio feeds, or triple audio feeds in this case. And you want to do preset stereo. GoPros only have stereo. Some GoPros will only have mono, so you gotta watch out for that. You want to do stereo. Premiere will automatically set up the stereo settings for the camera. So if it's mono, that means that it'll duplicate the stereo. It'll duplicate left and right audio as one. Okay, so that's set by default, so you don't have to worry about that. And then camera names, you could use whatever you want. I just like to enumerate the cameras. And then most important one is naming value. I like to set it as custom, and then I make my own name. So I do game 3 multi cam. Sorry, not cam. Multicam. Okay, and then press OK. And what's doing now is it's processing the audio and it's syncing it up properly. Alright, so if you don't get any errors, that means that it worked fine. Now, let's go to our preview window here, and we will just double click on our multicam. And as you can see there is a 4 window now. So if you just scrub through here and hit play, that'll basically play our audio synced up together properly. So just make sure that everything is synced up properly. As you can see there. And that's how we create the multicam. But that is not where we're going to stop here. We're going to keep going here, and I'll show you what the process is of actually making this into a video. So right now, this isn't really a usable video. This is more of a usable multicam track, or sequence as we call it. Well, it's really a track, not a sequence. So you can't really export this. Well, you can, but it'll have the 4 squares. You don't want that. You want to select which one you want to use. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a new sequence out of this. So what we're going to do is just go drag this into the new sequence, or the new tile. There we go. And what that does is it will create a game 3 multicam sequence. So I'm just going to name this comp, because this is our composition that we're going to be working with. Alright, so there you go, multicam comp. And what that does is now we have where we left off at the very beginning of this video is this sequence right here. But right now, if we just minimize this over here, right now it's displaying it as a single video. So you can see here, it's displaying it as a single window. And we don't want to display it as a single window. We want to be able to select your 3 cameras, just like this. Okay, so the trick to this is, with this multicam selected, you have to right-click, display, right-click on the not the preview window, on the playback window, display mode, multicam. And what that does is now you're able to select your multicam sequences as we go along. Alright, so that's the way to select it. Now you're going to go back and forth between display mode and composite mode. So what we're going to do is we're going to set it up so that you just have to press a button here, just like what you have here. So to set that one up, you could just go plus on the corner here, and then at the very end here, if you just hover over some of these details, alright, you have something here called toggle multicam view. So that's the icon right there, toggle multicam view. To segue to that, there is also shift 0, which is the hotkey for that. So that's a good one to keep in mind. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this, drag it to our little timeline here, or our little hotbar here. And that creates a button for us to select. So now we could go back and forth into multicam, or in this case, shift 0, as you can see there. Alright, so that settles how to display it in multicam, so you're able to select it, as you can see there. Alright, so now you can see the naming values of it here. As I switch through the multicam, so it's MC2, MC3, MC1. So 1 is always head cam, 2 is always self cam, and then 3 is always shot cam. Again, if you selected them properly at the very beginning when we did the clip create multicam, that's how it's gonna be. So as always, like I said, select head cam as the first one, self cam as the second one, and then the gun cam as the third footage. So you can see there what in the in the sequence there, it's enumerating the tracks that I've selected. So what I'm gonna do now is I'll show you guys how I actually cut this footage together. Before we start cutting the footage together, if you find that the footage is very laggy, like it starts to buffer a lot, you could always decrease the quality size of the video. So right now when it's paused, it's at full quality, but when it's playing, it's at quarter quality, or 1/4 basically. Or you could go as low as 1/8, and then it's gonna look super blocky. But my computer can take it. I could do 1/4. If you could do full, that means you got a really good rig. Good for you. You're running it off an SSD as well. So again, that's up to you what you want to set it up. Alright, so let's just cut some of these footages here. So let's just take a less boring part in this footage here. So I'm just gonna scrub through. Let's see, let's go to the running scene that I like to do at the very beginning. Okay, let's just go here. So what I've done here is I'm just gonna cut it from here. So I just take my cut tool, which is right here, or the razor tool, C. Alright, and if you don't have snapping on, you could always turn it on snapping, which is S. There you go. And then I'll take my selection tool, or V. I'll just select this and then cut it from there. And delete, I mean. And then I'll take this empty spot here and just delete it. Okay, and then I'll go all the way to the end again. Or sorry, the very beginning. And that's our cut footage right there. So we'll start off with the head cam. Little pro tip here, when you press play, or spacebar to play, and you start selecting tracks, you can see here that it makes nice little cuts for us. So if this is something you like to do, let's just go back here. If this is something you like to do, alright, I mean, go for it. I'm not a big fan of cutting my footages like that. What that does, it basically desyncs my audio. And as you can see here, it groups the audio into the first camera here. So it kind of just ruins it for me because it makes it harder for me to move stuff around. As you can see there. So I tend not to do that. Again, if you want to see it right here, I just select here, 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 here. And then I hit pause, or spacebar pause. What that does is just cuts up the footages, and I'm not a big fan of it. I like to stop and then cut my footages. So the workflow that I do is, let's say over here, I want to set up a self cam. But if you do that, that makes the entire footage the self cam now, as you can see, MC2. So what you do is you just take the razor tool, hotkey C, and then cut it in here. And then what you can do now is select your self cam. As you can see here, it's been cut into two footages, MC1 and MC2. So now if I play it, it switches to my self cam. And then if I want to go back to head cam, I just do the same thing. Go to my razor tool, cut, and then go back to my head cam. I prefer this method better because what it does is it keeps the audio together, as you can see there. And audio is important for videos. Again, it's up to you. If you want to do it the way it's intended to be used, as you can see here, like this, then go for it. I mean, you could use both ways, but I prefer to use the cut tool, change it, move forward, and then cut it again, go back, and then that's how the audio works. It's basically the same thing, but now since the audio is desynced to it, it's a little bit harder to cut. That means you got to double cut both of the sequences here. So right now I'm just gonna delete the middle part here and then put it together. So as you can see there, I'll go back to me. Shoot, I basically, let me just link them together again. There we go. Okay, let's go back to me running. And then let's go back to me at my head cam here. And I always like to, whenever I'm running, to cut time, I always like to push forward just a little bit more. And then cut, and then just delete that, so that it's a little bit of a cut time there. And then if... There you go. The audio is kind of unsynced at this point because we've cut into a different time. So what I tend to do is I just put a an audio sort of an audio fade in fade out sort of deal between these two tracks. But we're not doing that because that's editing at this point. Let's see if we could get some good shot cam footages actually. So I'll show you how the shot cam works. I'm not going to show you how to do the overlays. That'll be for probably another video, if you guys like these segments. So let me see if I have a good, yeah, aiming down the barrel here. Okay. So let's take this part here. Wow, I was aiming down pretty long there. Okay, so let's take this part. I'm just going to delete everything over here. We don't need it. Well, actually, let's keep some of it. It's going to be a really silly video. Okay, and let's just zoom in here. Okay, so this is where I come in here, and then I raise my scope. Okay, so I have my sights up. So what I tend to do is I'll cut here, and then I go to my shot cam. I think this guy wasn't... Yeah, he was out already. Okay, so that's my shot cam. And then I'll go back to my self cam. Okay, and then let's go back to my shot cam. Well, there's nothing really happening at my shot cam at that point, so we'll cut it a little bit better. So once I stop firing, okay, and then let's go back to my shot cam again. There we go. So what I've done is I basically made a pretty quick sort of edit. Okay, and then let's go back to my head cam. And that's the way the cookie crumbles right there. Alright, so now we've basically edited a pretty quick multicam sequence here, as you can see here. Let's go to single view here so we can see in full. I like to go back to single view because of the fact that it doesn't have to play all autosave kicked in. It doesn't have to play all those three footages at the same time, as you can see here. And this is what the sequence looks like right now. And this didn't even take us long to cut, so you can see how much time saver you're getting out of this. Okay, so that's pretty much like 30 seconds of footage right there. So that didn't take us long to edit. Pro tip for you guys who want, who are gonna put overlays, like scope overlays, onto your gun cam. As you can see here, it's really hard to distinguish which one is camera 1, 2, and 3 because they're all the same colors. So what I tend to do is I'll right click on the scope cam, and then I will add a label and violet. So what that does is it distinguishes that I have this as my scope cam. And then there's another one here, which is also scope cam. I'll do violet as well, label violet. What that does is it makes it easier for you to see or visualize where your scope cams are, and then you could just stack your secondary overlay, like let's say a scope cam, like a crosshair or something, on top of the next track here. If you want to hotkey that, there is an easier way to do it. As you can see here, I have all my colors hotkeyed. Alright. So let's go back to default, which is forest. And I'll show you guys how to hotkey that. And for me to hotkey it, I just go edit, keyboard shortcuts, and then we're looking for the color violet. So edit label violet, and then right now it is set to number pad 1 for me. So to set that, you just go click on the shortcut and then hit whatever key you want. In this case, I do number pad 1 because it is not being used by Premiere. Okay, press OK. And now, when I just select the footage, press number pad 1. Alright, press number pad 1. Or any one of these footages, it basically colors them to violet at this point. Alright. That's some pro tip for you guys right there. And that ends the tutorial right there. If you guys like these tutorials, leave comments on the comment section below. Leave a like, and yeah, check out my videos for I release one video a week, so check them out. Thanks guys, have a nice day.